why too much self-help can keep you stuck and what you can do about it. I'm Andrew Kane, and if you want to stop people pleasing, you want to feel happier in yourself and more confident about setting boundaries, then learning can be a great place to start, but too much of it can backfire. So here are 4 ways that spending too much time learning about assertiveness, confidence and self-care can actually accidentally get in your way, and 4 things that you can do about it. So number 1 is that learning feels good, but nothing changes. Reading books and watching videos feels good because you're kind of doing something, but at the same time you avoid the discomfort of taking the risk of trying something in your actual life. And that's a seductive, safe place to be. And it's easy to get stuck there. Now, if you wanted to learn to swim, you might benefit from reading some quick tips or getting some teaching to get you started, but quite soon you're going to want to get into the water and start practicing, because that's when the teaching, the help's going to start making sense and you're going to know what help you need next. Now, it's the same here. There's a time to stop learning and start doing. There's a saying apparently that the Asaro tribe of Indonesia and Papua New Guinea have: knowledge is just a rumour until it's in the muscle. Nothing changes until you do something, and too much time spent reading or watching videos can be a distraction from that key point when you do something. And next to this is the similar trap of mistaking the discomfort that you feel when you're starting to actually do something new to mean that you need to know more or do no more research. Almost certainly you don't. You probably know plenty already. What you need is to practice. The second way in which too much learning can be harmful is it can get you stuck in your head. So one pattern underlying the people-pleasing habit is being cut off from your own sensations, your own desires and what you want, because you're constantly looking outside for other people's desires and trying to fulfill them and getting detached from your own. And reading too much and watching too many videos can accidentally replicate that disconnection from your immediate experience and sensations. And that's why sometimes you might watch something or read something and find it interesting but kind of feel bad afterwards, because it might have fed your mind but at the expense of your connection to yourself and your experience in the here and now. Now, a lot of our problems do come from the stories we tell ourselves and our thinking, and it can be helpful to loosen those, but another way through that is to practice paying less attention to your thinking and practice bringing more attention into your immediate aliveness in the here and now. You can't always fix overthinking with yet more thinking. The third way in which too much learning can be a problem is that it's outside in. Behind those previous points is a fundamental change that you might need to make, because people pleasing is a massively outside in approach to the world. It's looking outside for approval and reassurance and guidance rather than sourcing it from within yourself. And too much time spent learning can sometimes reinforce that outside-in pattern, because you end up looking for answers in books or in videos or from teachers rather than spending that time reconnecting with your own wisdom and your own inner guidance. The fourth way in which it can be problematic is that self-help can often be quite isolating. And we know that isolation is closely connected to shame and lower levels of emotional resilience. And a lot of how we heal and how we change is through our connections with each other. We influence each other, we support one another. Modern society and a lot of Western culture puts forward the idea of us doing everything in isolation, but human nature is fundamentally very communal. And if you're finding it hard to deal with problems by yourself, well, that's normal. You're noticing that too much isolation can make things worse. So, enough about problems. What can you do instead? Let's flip those around into 4 ways you can embody change more deeply than just reading and watching videos. The first is to start flipping around that outside-in approach to an inside-out one, and is to begin to start making friends with yourself again, with your own experience. Our attention is so distracted with our phones, with the TV, with things we've got to do, with other people. Then on top of that, lots of extra learning that can just make it even worse and make us even more disconnected from our immediate experience. So turn that around. Spend some time each day in silence and check in with yourself, and you can just ask yourself, well, how am I right now? What do I need? You can go for a walk in nature. You can journal. Why don't you check in with yourself right now? How are you? What do you need? What can you do? The second thing you can do is to reconnect with your body and your immediate experience. So we were looking at how learning can keep you stuck in your head. And the way out of that isn't more thinking, it's coming into the here and now. So body scan meditations can be useful, or mindful movement practices like yoga or dance or Pilates or Tai Chi. There are dozens of them. You can have a massage. These are not about the physical benefits, not just those, although they're great. They're about you practicing being in touch with your direct sensations and experiences. So find a class that supports that kind of approach. Not all of them do. So find one that helps you tune in that way. And classes are good because the third tip is that change is best done together. We looked at how isolation can often feed shame and keep us stuck. So we need to do the opposite of that. It's so much easier to change with other people, with a community, with a coach. And it could be in a formal way, but it can be quite informal as well. So you can make sure that you're spending time with people who get you and with people who are on your side. Be around people who you know would be a good influence on you. Ask for help. That's not being weak, that's simply recognizing that that's the best way to make changes. And the fourth one, which is to get away from that like stuck on the side of the swimming pool image that we had before, is to take a small step soon. So what's one thing that you could do? What's something that you could start doing that would support yourself, or something that's damaging to you that you could stop? Now think of something small that you could do in the next few days and put it in the diary and actually make it happen. Because it's not about changing everything in one go and waiting till you're ready. It's about building the habit of doing something, getting in the shallow end of the swimming pool. And by doing that, you'll be building your confidence, and you'll be building the habit of taking a step and actually changing things in your life. So those are my 4 clarifications on why too much self-help can sometimes backfire, and some tips to turn that around. And they're principles that I apply in all my classes and one-to-one work. So there's always an encouraging environment, other people, there's movement and reconnecting with yourself, and some space for you to decide how you'd like to put into practice what you've discovered during the time that we've spent together. So if you'd like more around like reconnecting with yourself, building your confidence, setting boundaries and getting more on your own side, then you can go to my website, which is yourownbestfriend.co.uk, where you can pick up some free stuff and find out about one-to-one work and classes that I run online. And if you find this video helpful, then you can give it a like, and you can click subscribe and press the little bell if you'd like to find out when I make more. And if you've got any questions or things you'd like to add or things that you disagree with, then put them in the comments below, because that's a great place where we can carry on the conversation. And until next time, please take very good care of yourself.